tried to tell him there's pain here and suffering too. I tried to pray, but the angel said we're too busy for you.
Rocket, raspberry, black hole, cherry, and cosmic punch.
Cosmic void.
These are, oh my god, I'm gonna scream. One fell.
It was launched, actually.
It was launched. You wanna pick a flavor?
We can all have one flavor each.
Okay, this one's blue, so it is rocket raspberry.
Oh, rocket raspberry, your face.
Oh god.
Okay.
Big yikes.
Big yikes.
Wait, I'm gonna, is this flashlight better?
I also have...
Oh yeah, this one aims into the bag. Holy shit.
Oh.
That is nowhere near as sour as I
It's
remember
like
as
not
a
even
kid.
sour, barely
Not at all. It's kind of sad.
That's because the actual hard candies are the ones that are painful.
Yeah. So sad.
These are just yummy.
I was expecting
They're
to be
quite
attacked.
young, but they're not warhead sour.
No.
Give me more.
So disappointed.
Cookie tweet in my raccoon hand.
Well, there goes our bag. Oh my god, it's so sour.
No, we can do it again. We can do it again.
Ah!
I'm salivating all over the place.
You just start drooling.
My tongue is burning off.
Wait, it does say it's gonna turn your tongue. I have a geographical tongue, so normally you can see the spots, but I don't see any spots.
Because it's so concentratedly fucking blue.
That's crazy.
Terrifyingly blue.
Because, like, if I have a Jolly Rancher, you can still see the spots, because it doesn't dye those parts.
Hey, mermaids. But there's more to life than truth. There's hope, my son, in people's faith gives them strength to pull through. But what if the world is a hopeless place? We're just scared to admit we're alone. What if the world is a hopeless place and we're on our own? We're on our own. There's beauty in nature and parables from kingdoms we knew. Not expecting much after, I'll make the most of my dues. 'Cause I believe it's just a story, and I'm looking for the truth. I have faith in my own journey, with those I love to help me through. 'Cause I know the world is a beautiful place, so full of love to be alone. I know the world is a beautiful place, but we're on our own. We're on our own. There was a time when I was alone, nowhere to go and no place to call home. My only friend was the man in the moon, and even sometimes he would go away too. Then one night as I closed my eyes, I saw a shadow flying high. He came to me with the sweetest smile, told me he wanted to talk for a while.
Alright, finally settled in my dorm and time for an update. So, Thursday, I had 2 of my classes, the only 2 I've had thus far, and I've had twice because I had them again today, which was Philosophy of the Mind and Nature, Humans, and Philosophy. one of which I'm probably going to have to drop because I'm still doing that independent study for my music. And I have a third course called Designing Your Life, which I won't have until Wednesday. And then I spent the rest of Thursday kind of just doing reading and research after having my classes to get a jump start on things. Then Friday I started my period, and I really only had the club fair in the evening, so supposed to be advertising Witchcraft Club. Instead I was just kind of socializing with friends, because we have a pretty decent group, and we have fun, and it's accessible to everyone, so I was just chilling. And yeah, I also just didn't film any B-roll because, again, I was lethargic and like not feeling up to it. On Saturday I had an interview in town and mostly worked on scheduling with all of my courses and other responsibilities. And then we tried to camp on the pier, but there was an end of summer party and people came to skinny dip up until like 11 something p.m. And then right before midnight, the night watch came and was like, you can't sleep here. And I was like, people have been doing this for generations at this school. So that was really sad, but yeah, we were like fully in our like little sleeping bags and everything. It was adorable. So then Sunday, yesterday, I don't know why that's written wrong, I went to Ellsworth to try to run an errand, but because it was Sunday, they weren't even open, so I'm gonna have to go back. And because of the whole camping on the pier thing and then trying to get there like right as they opened so I wouldn't have to wait that long, I ended up having to take a nap when we got back because I got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And then I spent the majority of Sunday editing episode 9 and my reaction Music Monday to Man's Best Friend. And then we have our weekly dorm dinner and cleaning and kind of decorating. That happened a bit. And yeah, it was just very sweet to get to know my new housemates. And then I just did my nails, and that was Sunday. This morning, I did work at the dining hall, had some breakfast, and had those 2 classes again. And that's been the day thus far. But I am hosting a witchcraft meet tonight to talk about how next weekend is Mabun, and we want to have sort of a harvest feast Thanksgiving vibe. So what are we going to plan for that? And I have to go run to the store and get snacks for this meeting. So we need little trickety treats in our raccoon hands. So yeah, I gotta go run to the store and go get the card to run to the store. So that's the rest of today.
It was a very good tangent.
Thank you.
What he said, Peter Pan, that's what they call me. I promise that you'll never be lonely. And ever since that day.
Well, at least Halloween's coming up. It's like the only time I fit in.
There's so much I want to say, but I don't know where to start.
I'm not bored or unhappy, I'm still so strange and wild. You're in the wind, I'm in the water. Nobody's sun, nobody's dark. I am a lost boy from Neverland, usually hanging out with Peter Pan. And when we're bored, we play in the woods, always on the run from Captain Hook. Run, lost boy.
How beautiful you are, my darling. Oh, how beautiful. Your eyes are doves. You are altogether beautiful, my darling. There is no flaw in you. You have stolen my heart, my sister, my bride. You have stolen my heart with one glance of your eyes, with one jewel of your necklace. How delightful is your love, my sister, my bride. How much more pleasing is your love than wine, and the fragrance of your perfume more than any spice. Your lips drop sweetness as the honeycomb, my bride. Milk and honey are under your tongue. Your cheeks are beautiful with earrings, your neck with strings of jewels. The fragrance of your garments is like the fragrance of Lebanon. You are a garden locked up, my sister, my bride. You are a spring enclosed, a sealed fountain.
say to me, away from all of reality. Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free.
For anything she throws on her body is cool.
Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free.
Good evening. Update time. I updated you last on Monday, and pretty much after Witchcraft Club, I was running on campus to go write down what we wrote on the board for our next meeting, and something about running with a blonde ponytail and having the ultimate frisbee club be like, Morgan, you want to join? Was giving like, wake up a little after 12. It's very Elwoods. But yeah, on Tuesday I had a meeting and then I walked into town to run an errand, and today was the all college meeting and I went because I will probably be working during that time in weeks to come. And then I had my first Designing Your Life class, which I'll get to in a moment, and then it was coffee house, and I tried to go during the break that we had in class, but they were so backed up because it was the first time. They had dozens of orders, and so luckily somebody from our dorm brought back our drinks for us because that didn't really work out. And then I got dinner and started doing my homework outside and kind of said hi to the passersby. One second. Sorry, dorm life. So speaking of the Designing Your Life class, we were writing like 5-year plans and talking about what does life and work mean to you, and how do they overlap and how do they contradict and things like that. And these are all elements that I've thought about a lot. I'm much more interested in obviously strengthening my weaknesses. I am really good at project managing and I have a really good concept of my long-term goals. It's just what kind of approach, what kind of networking, what kind of financing do I need and want to go about those things. So yeah, I'm, considering a fellowship or a master's degree, but more than anything, I just want to keep creating. I want to do my entrepreneurship goals. I want to maintain my research and have a home and start a life. I was thinking home and family simultaneously, and I also just got my phone, but I don't think that had anything to do with it. Anyway, moving swiftly along, we had this practice of like determining your values, and it was like all of these words, and we were supposed to mark the ones that were our core values, right? And I started with just highlighting absolutely everything that was important, period, and then like putting a little star next to the ones that meant the most to me. And then the next part of the assignment was to collect those words that you highlighted, for me starred, because I'm not going to do like the whole freaking list, and put them in 2 categories, up to 5. I made 3, and then find 1 word for each of those. And so if you're curious, my pillars were agency, exploration, and wellness. Those are my most important values and like concrete pillars in the things that I create and produce and in the life that I build. But one thing I mentioned to my professor, which is something that I want to write in my life plan and entrepreneurship plan and notes to go into a meeting with them, was in highlighting everything that was important. I highlighted almost every word, so it made it really noticeable which words I didn't highlight. And so I went back and I looked at those and I was like, whoa, some of them are just like arbitrary or things that I've found, like hold value but aren't like your like not core values. Like for example, like punctuality. Yes, that is a great sign of respecting somebody's time and organizing your own time, but like, does that fall in line with like morality or how I want to structure my life? I don't, like, I respect my time, but like it's not that deep. You know what I mean? Like, things happen. I'm neurodiverse. I'm time blind. It's not that big of a deal. Or like being the best. Like, excellence doesn't mean you're the best. I grew up with people saying there is always somebody better. Normally there is a best in something, and maybe over time somebody becomes better, and even if you're never the best, it's still like worth pursuing if it brings you joy, right? So to me, I was like, that's kind of irrelevant. Or like attractiveness, like obviously that is an advantage. And even in Buddhist philosophy, like a beautiful view is something that even animals are able to appreciate, and it's almost something sacred and divine. But I've also found that it can almost cause more hindrances and doubting. You have to work twice as hard, or like insecurities or people lashing out and things like that. And so for me, it's just not as big of a priority. I think I find that like people get hung up on, like, for example, what I look like, and not getting to what I think or what I feel or the kind of person I am behind that, or almost like what it would mean for them to have some sort of contact with someone who looks like this, and not valuing any depth of that person, but like only like the perception of what like somebody like that would provide for them, you know? So bizarre. So for me, none of those were things that were highlighted, but there were some things that weren't highlighted that I was like, that speaks volumes, and that's really important. For example, two things I put in like little squares was family and security. Now these are so important to me, but they're not a core value because they're things I never had. They're things I've always wanted, things that I've worked for. And I think about like all of the time I spent healing and all the time I spent studying psychology, and what was that for? To have the skills to cultivate and nurture healthy relationships and not perpetuate that kind of pain. So those things are so important to me, but they're not part of the reality or world that I've built thus far. They're motivating factors towards what I'm working for. But anyway, the other two that I circled were recognition and popularity, because I've made the joke a couple times through my content that if I cared about those things, I would be doing things differently. And getting back to like the attractiveness not being a core value of mine either, I've also mentioned how much like shame that I've gotten for just being a woman. Like I can't even tell you how many times people in my life have messaged me or tried to talk to me in person like, you shouldn't be so sensual on the internet. And I'm like, literally every other person's posting like swimsuit photos. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm pouring out my heart here. I'm doing what I love here, you know? And that goes to speak to other people's repressed sexual shame and self-identity and yada yada yada. It has nothing to do with me. But my point in this is I care so much more about creating art, about validating feelings and experiences, and about making resources and education accessible, that I don't play the game of recognition or popularity. And in this field, like, of course, I want to take it a different entrepreneurial direction that's never really existed before. But one of my favorite things one of my high school professors had said was, you have to play the game to get inside the game, to change the game. And I have to play by the systems that be. And I don't really know how to do that because, first of all, again, having like looks be a hindrance, and also in accommodations and neurodivergence, like people don't take you seriously, or like you don't get social cues, and then people are like, why are you not playing the bitchy game? And I'm like, I don't understand the bitchy game. This is a whole thing. But in regards to this, people will see what I look like and then not take the things that I create seriously, because that should be enough and that should be my focus, what I look like, not anything intellectual or talent or production or passion, you know? So I don't know, it's just really fascinating to realize that there are things that I completely disregard and don't personally value, but realize are essential values to the industries that bring me so much joy and purpose. And so learning to have to work with them. So there's one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and I've been wanting to for a while. I just really haven't been able to find the words, and I came across a TikTok tonight that sort of segues into this. So it was apparently a true story, and I believe there's a book written on it, but it poses a philosophical question about love. And essentially they said, if you had fallen deeply and passionately in love with this person who had been in love before, but in your love it has been reassured and validated, and they've confirmed, that they're set on you, certain on you, blah, blah, blah. But this person's ex comes and delivers you a letter detailing just how much and how and all of these things about their love and devotion for the love of your life, and says that they don't want to bring harm to your connection and wants to respect that you're together, but they will leave it up to you to decide whether or not you should deliver it to the love of your life. And you could either give it back to them completely sealed, or keep it and not tell them, or give it to the love of your life, or yada yada yada. What would you do? And it brings up that whole, like, if you love something, set it free, and if it loves you, it will return, whole philosophy and everything. But instantly I was like, I'd give them the letter, because I love unconditionally and with my whole heart and soul. And yes, I acknowledge that there are things that I desire and that I need. And for me to have a commitment or a relationship with you, there are boundaries to fulfilling those desires and needs. But I never regret the things that I love. And to me, if something other than a connection with me truly fulfills you and brings you a sense of peace and joy in a way that I can't, I want that for you. And I will never regret being able to marvel at the beautiful person that you were, and having gratitude for being able to appreciate all of the little profound things that made me love you to begin with. And I don't know, that got me thinking about, to break the fourth wall again, a piece that came out a bit ago where those words were said for the first time, and it was something I'd waited to hear exactly what it would sound like for those words to be said by you. But the ending of that, I can find peace knowing that you are content and whole and happy in your life, and selfishly, perhaps, maybe our paths crossing again, but never let me imagine harm coming to you ever again. Hard boundary. Good night. After a bit of my evening freestyle dancing, I remembered one more thing that I forgot to mention in a previous update, but I'm rather possessive over what ends up being mine, so that's why I said, I hope you're kidding.
He sprinkled me in pixie dust and told me to believe in him and
I'm officially off the rails. You should try it. I myself am strange and unusual.
Steht schon lange da, mein Schatz. Wartet nur darauf, dass wir uns trennen. Der Bauch steht.
Together we will fly away. boys like me and lost boys like me are free. Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, Wendy, darling, even Captain Hook, you are my perfect storybook. Neverland, I love you so. You are now my home, sweet home forever. Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, Wendy, darling, even Captain Hook, you are my perfect storybook. Neverland, I love you so. You are now my home, sweet home forever. A lost boy at last. And for always I will sing. I am a lost boy from Neverland, usually hanging out with Peter Pan. And when we're bored we play in the woods, always on the run from Captain Hook. Run, run, lost boy, they say to me, away from all love, reality. Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free. Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free.
So earlier this morning, I was spiraling about just being awkward and having anxiety about that, you know, when it just like replays in your brain. And a thought occurred to me that I think might help you if you deal with this. How often do you think about the fact that somebody else was awkward? Maybe like once or twice a year, do you reflect on it past the actual conversation? Right? So does everyone else. Like, I remember someone telling me earlier this week, like, oh, I got anxious because nobody else was wearing both shorts and short sleeves, so I went and changed my pants. I'm like, I don't even know what I was wearing yesterday. What do you mean? So, here's your little disclaimer to, be authentic, make mistakes. Nobody really cares. Nobody's really paying attention. You have the best of intentions, and the rest doesn't really matter. Also, side note, most of those views, my fault.
Nice. So pretty.
Just realized how dusty those lines are. Sweet.
Candy the artist. He's just vibing. Just floating along. Hell yeah, bud. Pop along. Yeah.
First, I fucking dare you. Second, last night after the peer career coaches meeting, which I now am, one of those, I stayed and talked with Candy for probably over an hour. About what? That's not important. And then this morning, I really just had coffee and danced until my AirPods, whoa, I can't speak, died. That's how much I danced. And it was great. It was lovely. So now I'm ready and fed, and it's the afternoon. And I'm going to meet some people about doing weekly music meetings at the coffee house. Well, meeting at the coffee house to talk about it, not doing music at the coffee house. Yeah, just like a little peer check-in for, you know, dance, instrumentation, vocals, whatever anybody's working on. We're going to talk about a plan for this term and see if that's a thing that we want to do. And then, I have a meeting with my independent study lead for producing later this evening. update and story time. I had my music meeting and then I was going to go do some work in a building, but my friends texted me that they had an extra meal swipe and they were hanging out, so I got food and joined them in the garden. We had dinner, we chatted for a bit, came back to the dorm, chatted with some of my housemates. That's where we're at now. Now I'm dopamine doom scrolling and I should go get ready for bed. The story time, however, in the beginning of the month, I had so much going on and expected things to go on, so I was too in my head, got kind of frustrated and impatient. What else is new? And I was like, okay, well, that's not the best mindset to be in for anyone, so I'm just going to focus on me. And that was like shortly after I had gotten my phone, so I was dopamine doom scrolling again, and it was like late in the evening. I didn't have the spoons for anything else. And I ended up stumbling across this video. Like, I'm swiping by anything that's relevant to the situation, and I'm just like, I just need something arbitrary to watch. And it ends up being a Bohemian Rhapsody flash mob in Paris, and were you in the fucking crowd? The one time, literally the one time where I'm like, maybe I should focus on something else. Were you in the fucking crowd?
We're all falling and we need a place to hide. A safe place somewhere in the woods we can start a fire. All we know is what will be our home. We will stay until break of dawn. The cold night takes us to a place to escape the chill. Tucked up somewhere in the woods on a hill. Wake up feeling the cold in between our toes. Is there a way back? Nobody knows.
You see how dusty my outfit got? It was so dusty at the fair. I blew my nose and it was just dirt, because everywhere you walked there was like dust clouds, which I had never seen. But we went to the Common Ground Fair today, if that wasn't abundantly clear by the B-roll before this. This was the fit. It's very Elena Gilbert inspired, I think. And clearly I got very sunburned. Didn't expect that to happen whatsoever, but I heal like crazy fast, hence the whole scarring condition. Thought I'd give a little haul of the things that I got. So I decided to do it in one of the computer labs because I assumed my dorm would probably get boring as like a background. So my friends who couldn't make it with us asked us to find some cool like jam or marmalade or something. So we got this spiced blueberry jam and it was so good. We tried a sample and it has like pie spices, like apple or pumpkin pie spices, like the clove, cardamom, cinnamon, all of that sort of stuff. So it's very autumnal, but a blueberry jam, and it was actually delicious. Obviously I had the blueberry crumble too. It's Maine, there's a lot of blueberries, but this was also so beautiful. And I got her some stickers and a bookmark and things like that. So for myself, I was in need for toiletries, so I got a detangler and some toothpaste and a shampoo bar. So that's nice. I have those things now. And let's see what too much, even not too much with food either, besides the, sorry for that interruption, besides the coffee and donuts and blueberry crisp, I got tofu fries with a sesame garlic dip, which I always get there, which I love. Hi, Carla. You look sleepy. she drove us. I got these earrings, they're little knives, and I don't have my ears pierced, and I think I mentioned this in my Aurora Borealis Get Ready With Me, again with the scarring. I don't know why that's relevant recently, but I used to have very large scars that I had operated on my ears, so I found these clip-on earrings that allow you to put any regular earrings into them, because clip-ons tend not to be the cutest. So now I can get whatever earrings I want. I still have to buy those clip-ons though, but I got little knives. I don't know, that was cute. And then I got 2 little stickers, Bahaba and this like dancing celestial woman, and then this artist who did this like amazing like cloth tapestry art. And here is her map of, I guess, Easton, Maine, against a sort of Nordic scene background. I don't know, I just thought it was beautiful, very much my vibe. So, yeah, I got this little postcard because I thought it was cute. And that is my haul. I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna go get ready for bed because I don't have the spoons to do any work tonight. And I should just get up early and prepare for the week ahead because it's a busy one. They always are.